What's going on, guys? It's Mike. Welcome back. Today I want to tell you a little story from when I first bought my business. And I think that there's something in there that might be useful to you if you're an entrepreneur or someone who wants to start a business. So let's go. Now, I bought this company years ago in my early 30s. It was a distressed business. It was an agency in my hometown that had a really good reputation, had been around for decades. They'd been in business before I was even of school age. These people at this company, some of them almost from the founding group of people, great people, highly talented, highly respected, and was really an excellent little business. However, the previous owner, the second owner, the founder had handed the business over. The second owner had passed away prematurely, and his widow had held on to the company. She was a great woman. She cared about the people, and she didn't want her husband's memory to just go away by locking the doors. And the employee said, "Hey, we'll run the business. We'll keep it going till you can figure things out." Well, many years forward, and they just hadn't found someone to take over the business. And over time, the business struggled. There was nobody in the company that was good at sales or was really business-minded. They were excellent people, highly regarded professionals, and really skilled at what they did. But when it came to getting out there and selling, closing deals, promoting the business, and so on, just wasn't a strong suit. And over time, the company started to wither, and it picked up a handful of debt, a lot of debt, I should say, and they were looking for someone to take it over. So I showed up on the scene, went through a process of negotiating for the business, and I bought it. Now, I had a CPA, an accountant, that I had hired to help me navigate the acquisition process, meaning I needed someone to advise me. I was a young guy. I was in my early 30s. I'd never bought a business like this before. I'd done a bunch of entrepreneurial things, started little businesses. From even when I was a kid, I was entrepreneurial.
I'm a young entrepreneur.
Mowing lawns and making money and shoveling driveways and all that good stuff that we hardworking kids do for cash. However, I'd never really owned a company that was as big as this one. I didn't have employees, etc. I'd never had this kind of opportunity or responsibility. And so I hired this fellow named Tom. Tom was a partner in a firm that he owned. It was just him and another partner. They worked with all kinds of high net worth people and other business owners. Tom was in his late 50s at the time. He was a member at the most prestigious country club. Like, this guy knew it. He knew how to make money. He was around money. He knew people that made money. He was connected in our town. And the guy was just wise. Like, he just knew how it all worked. And I was kind of in awe of Tom, and still am, to be quite honest. He was such a good man to me. And so when I got to the other side of the acquisition process, and now I own this business, and I was having my first sit down with Tom, and the idea being that now he was going to be my accountant, and he'd take care of my advisement on money and preparing for taxes and all that kind of stuff. He said, "Michael, I want to share something with you." And I said, "Okay, what is it, Tom?" "Well, I want to share with you a secret for business success." And I was like, oh, now he's got my attention. Because, as I said, this guy was so experienced. He was such a hitter. And I thought, this guy's going to share with me the secret. And he said, "Here's the thing. You only need 3 things to be successful in business. Just 3 things. You can ignore everything else if you pay attention to these 3 things. And if you focus on these 3 things, you'll be so successful you won't believe it." And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy who is at the top of his career, who hangs out with the most wealthy people in my city, who knows he's going to let me in behind the curtain. Tom is going to share the keys to the kingdom with me. And said, "Michael," and he always called me Michael, "I want you to pay attention. The only 3 things that you will ever need to be successful in business are cash, cash, and cash." It was cash. It was like the old real estate joke, location, location, location. Except for, I guess, for entrepreneurs, it's cash, cash, and cash. And I kind of felt at first disappointed, like he's pulling my leg. He's taking the mickey out of me. I'm this young kid. I don't know what I'm doing. He's yanking my chain a little bit. But it dawned on me as we were sitting there that no, Tom was being serious. Yes, it was a bit of a joke, and he knew that. It was a little tongue-in-cheek. But Tom was trying to make a point. He was making the point that there's only really one thing that matters in business, and that is cash. Because if you don't have cash, you can't be successful. But at the time, I thought, okay, he's being serious. And yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, I got to have cash. Okay, thanks, Tom. That means I need to go out and sell, and I got to make sure that there's revenue coming in. Okay. But I never forgot that moment. I never forgot talking with Tom and that point that he tried to make, and it stayed with me. And as I got into the business, as I mentioned, this business was distressed. There were cultural issues. There were employee staff issues. There were some people in that business that really shouldn't have been there. They were actually hurting the company. We had clients that some were really good, but some were actually not good for the business. In fact, we had one client who was really good for us, but they accounted for about 65% of our revenue. They had a concentration. And it was all wrapped up in one person. It wasn't like one big company, although it was, but it was one guy. One guy was providing about 65% of our revenue. If we lost that one guy or he decided to use a different vendor, we were done.
I declare bankruptcy!
And so I set about trying to fix these things and change these things. And as a young business owner, you just get sucked into things. You get busy with all kinds of stuff. There's always stuff to do. There are things to worry about. And on top of that, as your business starts to get a little better, and you've got a little bit of cash here or there are other things to distract you too. You can join groups and clubs, and you can hang out with other entrepreneurs and go on trips and all those kinds of things. And what ended up happening is I took my eye off the ball, in the sense that I forgot what Tom told me. I mean, it was always there in the back of my mind, but I kind of just put it off to the side. I thought, no, cash, we'll deal with that. But as our expenses grew and as the business took on more people and as we started changing our client mix, I kind of got sucked into some of the day-to-day, and I wasn't focused on cash. What do I mean when I say that? I wasn't prioritizing the things that drove cash into my business. I was not prioritizing the things that protected the cash that was already in my business. That means that I wasn't out selling. I wasn't out finding new customers. I wasn't setting up marketing funnels. I wasn't promoting. Yeah, I'd go out and network. Yeah, I'd have coffee meetings. Yeah, I'd meet people for lunch and breakfast. I'd go to events, hear people talk and join boards. I mean, I was doing stuff. I wasn't just sitting at the office ignoring my owner responsibilities. But I was not laser focused on cash. I've had taken Tom's words to heart and said, you know what? I'm going to do exactly what this man is telling me. I would have had no issues because I know how to sell. I know how to close deals. I know how to build client relationships and do good work. But I kind of got sucked into all the things that take your time away as a leader, as a manager, as a business owner. And then we hit a crisis. We hit the 2008, 2009 economic crash. And my business went from over $1 million a year. It got cut in less than half. I mean, I think we're on track to do about 400,000 like that. Like over half the business just gone in moments. And I then I was forced to start to focus on cash. And I and my team, wonderful group of people, started doing everything we could around cash. We started getting jobs through the firm quicker. My staff said, we got to get this stuff out the door so that we can bill it, because billing is cash coming in. Mike's got to get out there and sell. We got to free him up. Let's stop bogging him down. Let's push him out the door and get out there and sell. And I was selling. So we were selling, looking for revenue, cash in. We were getting work through as quickly and as efficiently as we could to make sure that the cash flow was healthy. We went through all of our open projects looking for opportunities to make sure that we're capturing the value that we're creating, that we're invoicing correctly, that we're not just leaving money on the table. We did everything we could. On top of that, I had to trim quite aggressively. I had to let some people go. We had to get rid of some overheads and expenses. And for a while as an owner, I went without an income. Just for a period of time, it was a crisis to make sure that I freed up cash. And by doing this, by making cash king, if you will, we were able to navigate out of a terrible crisis and from there build a healthy, strong, vibrant company that went on for years and years and years afterwards, quite successfully. And so as you're looking at your business, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're thinking of starting a business, take a page from Tom's book. There are only 3 things that you need to run a successful business. They are cash, cash, and cash. And I promise you, if you prioritize cash, I don't mean in your heart, but as a business, if you orient your activities, your behaviors, your priorities around cash, I guarantee you will have a healthy, thriving business that will bless you and the people that work for you for years to come. Guys, if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, like and subscribe. And on top of that, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or someone thinking of starting a business, sign up for my free email newsletter. The link is down in the description below. I send out an email about once a week, and in it, I share insights, tips, tools, tricks, and strategies for business success. Don't forget, Uncle Mike loves you, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers.